You have to stick around to the end of this video because I found some great footage of factory workers, cotton manufacturing in the northwest of England somewhere. It's from the late 1800s. It's fantastic. But I work from home, and it's a difficult thing to do because sometimes I don't even know what day it is. But I know what day it is today because my son just got home from school, and these need to be polished, that's for sure. It's uh it's Friday, and that means it's the weekend. So I asked him what we were going to do this weekend, and he said nothing. Now that's quite a luxury, isn't it? Going to do nothing. Now that got me wondering, where did weekends come from? So we live in the UK, and we moved here from Canada, and there's some different things about the weekend, like this calendar, for instance. So if you're from North America, now forgive me, I forgot to buy a new calendar this year. So I had to print out a page and stick over last year's calendar. But you'll notice there's something different about it. It's got the weekend at the end of the week. So what's so strange about that, most of you are asking yourselves? Well, let's take a look at blankcalendarpages.com. That's where I got the calendar I printed out there. So if you look here, if you look at a normal calendar, normal to North Americans, Sunday is the first day of the week, and Saturday is on the end of the calendar. You have Sunday and Saturday straddling the calendar, and Wednesday is in the middle, which is normal to us. Wednesday is hump day. It's the middle of the week. It's the middle of the work week, but it's the middle of the week in the calendar as well. And that's the way North American calendars are. All North American calendars are that way. And it took me a couple of years to notice that. Over here, you see Monday calendars, Monday start calendars, which is what they use here in the UK. And as you can see, the calendar has Saturday and Sunday at the end of the week, the weekend. Now, that in itself doesn't explain the weekend. That's another difference between North America and the UK. There's a very subtle difference in how we say it. North Americans say weekend, and here in the UK they say weekend. It's like a time. In North America, it's a thing. It's a weekend. But in the UK, it's a weekend. And that's the other thing about working from home. There's always some little chore that needs to be done, or as they say here in the UK, that needs doing. There's always a little chore to do. And that's the way it was for millennia, because if you worked on a farm, the cows still need milking. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. One of the great things about working from home is you can go get a cup of tea whenever you want, or a brew, as they call it here in Manchester. I live in a place called Sale. It's just a couple of miles from Manchester. It's in Greater Manchester, and this is a well-known Sale landmark. It opened as the Pyramid Cinema, and we did a whole video about that. So check it out. It's going to pop up on the screen any second now, either up here or up here, right now. So if you want to watch and find out about the Pyramid Cinema, don't click on that yet. There's a link in the description, but you can always rewind to this point in the video and click on that link that appeared on the screen. But Manchester changed everything. People started moving from farms and the agrarian lifestyle that they had into cities like Manchester, the Industrial Revolution. So, being a Christian nation, Sunday was a day of rest, always a day off on Sunday. Well, The cows still need milking. But when people started moving into cities and working in factories, they would get Sunday off, a day of rest. But there was a problem with this Monday to Saturday work week. People would like to drink on their day off, as they do today, of course, but there was no recovery day. And there was a thing called St. Monday's Day. That's hilarious. I've never heard of this before. St. Monday's Day. And that was kind of a self-imposed day off. A lot of people wouldn't show up to work on Monday because they were too hungover to go to work, and it became known as St. Monday's Day. If you look at Wikipedia, there's a fascinating history of the weekend, going back to Roman times and beyond. But this article I found is quite interesting, which talks about our modern weekend. That 6-day week led to such a tradition of staff not clocking in on a Monday morning that it even had its own name, Saint Monday. According to Professor Martin Hewitt, an expert in social history, Manchester's William Marsden, and Salford's Robert Lowes, the great-great-grandfather of actor Sir Ian McKellen. Yes, I knew he was from Salford. They were both fed up with the situation. The Anglian Ruskin University historian said the pair had very different lives, but came together at Manchester Athenaeum, a society for the advancement and diffusion of knowledge, which met in a building which now forms part of the city's main art gallery. That's another video you can check out. We did a video about Tate and Lyle's treacle, and treacle is something I'm not familiar with. Treacle is not something we have in North America. It's not a thing. We have molasses. We Treacle and molasses are very much the same thing to me. And we did a video about Tate and Lyle changing their logo. So there may be a link to that video popping up on the screen here too. But check the description. There will be a link to that video as well if you want to check that out. And part of it is in the city's art gallery, the Manchester Art Gallery. He said Lowes, who was working as a clerk, had come from Carlisle to work in Salford, while Marsden was the son of a wealthy cotton manufacturer who lived in Manchester. But in 1843, Lowes started to call for warehousemen to have a half-day holiday on Saturdays, and founded a committee with Marsden to advocate for change. The success of their campaigning can be seen at Manchester Central Library, where their signatures adorn a large scroll alongside those of more than 400 merchant princes who agreed to grant the new half-day holiday in September of that year. Whether it was the diligence of the campaign or a desire to see the end of St. Monday that swayed those business owners has been lost to history, but the idea spread to other towns and cities, and in 1850 became law as part of the Factory Act. Though the act actually extended the work week by 2 hours, those hours were set within a defined time period, making family life much more manageable and freeing up Saturday afternoons for other activities. Within the decade, the first football clubs were formed and regular concerts began to take place on Saturdays, as the day quickly became one for recreation and sport in Victorian society. But not everyone believes Greater Manchester can take all the credit. Professor Brad Bevan, an expert in social and cultural history, said it was not correct to say one place is responsible for the half-day movement. Salford was part of a wider movement in the Manchester conurbation, he said. Conurbation, I don't know what that means. That's a new word for today. There were a lot of people doing the same thing, but Salford can claim some credit. Professor Hewitt said it was a local movement, but it led people to think if Manchester can do it, why not us? There are newspaper reports of what Lowes and the committee achieved, and it was a definite chain reaction, he said. The query over the origin has not stopped the achievement of Lowes and Marsden being celebrated in their native cities. Salford Council recently held We invented the weekend, a festival celebrating free time, quality time, and me time, based on Robert Lowe's winning workers the right to leisure time on Saturday afternoons. Across the River Irwell in Manchester, though, a memorial to William Marsden in St. John's Gardens names him as the man who originated the Saturday half holiday. Professor Hewitt said the truth was that it may never be known which of them was the progenitor, as we don't know a large amount about Lowe's. He is an unknown figure apart from this one moment where he appears on the public stage, he said. However, he added that there was no doubt that Marsden's position as chairman of the committee gave him a certain cachet, but like many organizations, it was probably Lowe's as secretary who put the hard yards in. So that is wonderful. I had no idea that the weekend started in Manchester, but I'm not at all surprised. Manchester has brought so many great things to the world. Now, there's more to the history of weekends. The other half of the weekend, the other half day of the weekend came from American companies. But it's wonderful that those factories and companies here in Manchester and Salford voluntarily gave these people a half day off. That's fantastic. That's a wonderful story. It sounds like they did it voluntarily. That's fantastic. And here in Greater Manchester, in Sale, you can find us at the Sale Makers Market. Going to get back at the markets again. It's every third Sunday of the month. And we have mugs and coasters and things of that nature with a print of the Manchester Bee mosaic I made. And they come in all different colors, and you can get them at the Sale Makers Market. If you want to, you can go to wickedacorn.com and you can become a member of the Brew Crew, and you can get one of our Manchester Bee mugs. They come in all different colors, and you can even get your name put on them if you like. And become a member of the Brew Crew and help out with the things that we do here at Wicked Acorn. That's fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I wouldn't have found this footage either if I hadn't gone looking for this history of the weekend. Anyway, we'll see you on the third Sunday of every month at the Sale Makers Market on the weekend. And we'll see you in the next one.